Hello and welcome back to my channel. Last month was my birthday and for my birthday I got a lot of books. The reasoning for most of these books is because my boyfriend took me to Barnes & Noble and did the whole 2 minutes look around, 2 minutes to grab things, whatever. And I ended up coming away from that with 10 books. So I thought it could be fun to do a little haul of all these books that I got. There's 20, so that is a ton. First, let's do the books that I got from the birthday gift from my boyfriend of running around Barnes & Noble. I went in with a plan. But I put together all the books that I thought that I could grab in that time, and also within a certain budget, because I'm also not trying to run my boyfriend broke. And then I broke them down by category, and then I mapped it out when I got there. I was zooming. Quite honestly, I was zooming around the store. I ended up having an extra 30 seconds to just grab 2 more books.
She's zooming.
Dude. Let's get started, shall we? The first book that I got was Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This has been on my TBR for probably a year now. It's not my usual genre. I like sci-fi, but typically YA sci-fi. Sometimes adult sci-fi can be a little complicated, but I've heard so many good things about this. I actually don't know the whole premise of this series at all, and I kind of want to keep it a surprise. This is all that it says on the back. His wife taken, his people enslaved. Driven by a longing for justice and the memory of lost love, Daryl will stop at nothing to bring down his enemies, even if he must become one of them to do so. Okay, cool. Sounds fun to me. Next, I got the special edition of Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. It has the sprayed edges in the different color cover. And then I also got Hellbent, which is the sequel, Black Sprayed Edges, and they just look so good together. I'm obsessed with them. I will say, when I first started getting back to reading, I did try reading Ninth House, and I DNF'd it only because I had just started getting into reading again, and this was way too complicated for me. And if you are unfamiliar with what Ninth House is about, it's basically about a girl who's recruited to go to Yale. She has a kind of dark past. It says that she dropped out of school early and had shady drug dealer boyfriends, dead-end jobs, and much worse. Then Yale all of a sudden reaches out to her and is like, hey babe, come attend our school. The reason why they invite her there is so that she can keep an eye on Yale's secret societies. These people are performing dark magic, sacrificing people, blah, blah, blah. And if there's one thing about me, I love a secret society. We're gonna give it another go. On to the next. These are boring. I got the last 2 books in the ACOTAR series because I hadn't bought them. I had bought the first 3. I was in the middle of reading the 3rd one. So we got the last 2. Everyone knows what ACOTAR's about. I don't need to explain these. I still haven't read these. I'm taking a little break from ACOTAR right now. I have so many books that I want to read, and I just feel like I need to branch out. Next thing I got was Legendary by Stephanie Garber. Stephanie Garber wrote the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I'm obsessed with that series. It was so good. I had the first book of Carvel and I plan to read these soon, so I bought the second one. This is kind of a prequel to the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, and there is this magical carnival that comes around once a year. The main characters are twin sisters, and the sister gets taken by the carnival. Magical carnival vibes. Cool. The next book that I got is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is actually the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. It's really pretty, actually. The sprayed edges are really cool. The Inheritance Games is about a multi-billionaire, $46.2 billion, crazy, crazy money. And the main character in this is a girl who just lives in small town Connecticut. All of a sudden, she gets summoned to the will reading of this man's will. This $46.2 billion will reading. He leaves all of the money to her. She does not know who this man is. She does not know why the money is left to her, but he now has a family of people that have been scorned, and they're like, why did we not get the money, and who is this random bitch? And now in this bajillion-dollar mansion that she also inherits, it's filled with trapdoors, secret passageways, puzzles, and so she's trying to figure out why she was left all this money. And there's actually 4 sexy grandsons. The next 2 books I got are part of a duology. The One Dark Window, I think it's the Shepard King. Yeah, the Shepard King duology. So I got One Dark Window and I got 2 Twisted Crowns. Since This has been added to my TBR. I know that it has blown up. Everyone really likes it, so I'm really excited to read it. The magic system seems really interesting. The magic system follows tarot cards rather than like traditional magic. If you have all the cards, you have all the power. Also, according to the back of this book, she has a monster in her head, an ancient spirit trapped in her head. I love that. I just love dark, eerie, creepy things, and especially when they involve magic, so I do think I'm going to love this series. And then the last book that I got from my birthday haul is Butcher and Blackbird. This is a serial killer romance. This was one of the ones that I just picked up at the end because I had seen it floating around, and the concept sounded perfect to me. Serial killer romance, like how could I not love that? I did read this. I didn't love it, unfortunately. Basically, Butcher and Blackbird follows two serial killers who meet up once a year to like play a game, like who can kill someone first. And then it's like them falling in love. But this book, it's not that long, and it takes place over the course of like 5 years, and you never see their relationship develop. They just like say it does, like it'll jump a year and they're like, we've been texting. And it's like, well, I didn't see you text. And also it's giving millennial cringe. I just could not stand the main female character, and the main male character wasn't really giving it either. I wanted this to be more like You, the TV show. You know, like you're inside their heads and you're like hearing them justify their actions and like all their creepy behavior. I don't know. They almost weren't psychotic enough for me. Is that odd? I don't know. It was all right. Actually, no, it wasn't. I gave it 2 stars, which is very, very, very low for me. Now, let's get on to the books that I bought with gift cards and just in passing over the last month. One of them that I have was actually a pre-order that I ordered way back in October, and it finally came in like a couple of days ago. And that is the Fairyloot edition of Iron Flame. I have the reverse dust jacket on right now because I actually like it way more than the regular Iron Flame cover. I also just think it makes it unique. So we have Violet and Xaden on the front cover. And then on the back, we have Taryn and Sagal. Is that how you say her name? I don't know. I don't think I'm pronouncing half the people's names right in Fourth Wing, and that's okay. And then this sprayed edges, super dope.
Yeah.
So yeah, also the hardcover is super cool. That's insane. I'm obsessed. I will say, unfortunately, I didn't like this book. I did pre-order this back in October, which is before the book was even out. Regardless, I'm still going to read the next book in the series, which was just announced. I've already pre-ordered it because I did love the first book so much. It has all the elements of Divergent and How to Train Your Dragon if they had like a love child, which like I love Divergent. So ate the first book up. I thought it was so good. And then the second one just fell off. But I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt because I do think it was rushed. Regardless, I do think this edition is like stunning. It's a shelf trophy. The next 2 books I got are part of a trilogy. I got Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I have never read anything by Marissa Meyer. I've wanted to read the like Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, you know, that sci-fi YA series that she wrote. I've wanted to read that probably since I was 13. I just never got around to it. So I've actually never read anything by Marissa Meyer. I know that this is pretty well rated, and I do like the concept of the book. Basically, what I gather from this world is that there was a war where people with superpowers took over, established a new world, saved it, you know, created a foundational society. And so everyone loves them except for the villains that they overthrew. Our main character named Nova has an allegiance to one of these villains, and she meets a boy who's in the Renegades who trusts her, but she wants to take them down. It reminds me of The Boys, a teeny, like in the grandest of concepts. Like if you look at it from a very like, you know, far lens of superheroes being the saviors and like the god figures, but they're not as good as they seem to be. So I did get Renegades. I got this at Books A Million in their bargain section. I think I paid like $7 for it. And then at one of my used bookstores that I love here in Denver, I got the second book. She was there and she was cheap, so how could I not? And she's in like great condition. Okay, next. We're gonna get into a giant pile of books by one author. If there's one author that I can single-handedly give credit to for me getting back into reading as an adult, it is V.E. Schwab. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is the first book that I read getting back into reading. And I literally think about it every day. It has changed me as a person, changed the trajectory of my life. Like that book did amazing things for me. Since then, I've read Gallant and I've read her Villains series. Piggybacking off of Vicious and the Villains world is this book. This is a graphic novel. As you can see, it's not a traditional looking book. I actually had no idea that this was even a thing. Like, I did not know this existed. And I was on Barnes & Noble's website the other day, and I saw that this was in their, like, discount clearance books. Every single one of these is signed. So if you're a V.E. Schwab hoe, like myself, go on Barnes & Noble's website and get yourself one of these. It's $13.99. Every single one of them signed. And this is a spin-off story that takes place in the same universe as Vicious. And it also comes with her short story that she had written that inspired her to write Vicious and Vengeful. If you didn't know, V.E. Schwab was in a major writing slump for a while, and she gave herself a prompt to write a short story where none of the characters were good people. That's when she wrote the story that inspired her to write Vicious. And that story is published in this book. So I'm super excited to read that and see what she wrote and how it ended up getting to the series that I love. The art style is really cool. It's really like traditional comic book superhero kind of style, which is perfect for this series. Anything that V.E. Schwab writes, I will read. It's as simple as that. This is the only series by her that I have not read that isn't like her middle grade stuff. It's been on my TBR for a really long time, but I was like, I don't want to get into a series right now. And now I'm over that. So the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. I've actually started this book. I'm almost done with the first one. And she does it again. She does it yet again. V.E. Schwab writes so beautifully, so elegantly, so immersive that she could literally write a story about like her morning shit and I would read it and I would love it. Like in detail, it could be 100 pages long. And I'd be like, yeah, this is good. This is good. This is the first book in the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. Then we have the second, which is A Gathering of Shadows. And the third, which is A Conjuring of Light. Three more left. We're almost done. The next book I got, I was anticipating the release because I have read everything that this author has written. And that is The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is one of my favorite series of all time. She writes murder mystery, but accessible because it's YA and it's not super complicated. I did read her other standalone, which is Five Survive. It was all right for me. I felt like it was a little slow, so I'm hoping that this one will be a little better for me. I'm also holding it to the standard of her first trilogy, which it's hard to top that since I loved it so much. But this book is her other standalone. At least I think it's supposed to be a standalone. I don't know. Basically, The Reappearance of Rachel Price is about a girl who, when she was a kid, her mom disappeared, presumed to be dead, presumed to be murdered, I think. Now she's 18 and a company wants to buy the rights to produce a documentary on her mother's disappearance. So while that's happening and she's just like waiting for it to be over, her mom comes back. Hey, I'm back. I'm here. What? What do you mean? You've been gone for literally 15 years. Like, where have you been? So now the mom shows up out of nowhere and this girl's like, can I even trust her? Where has she been? Is she even lying? Like, what's true, what's not? And so that's what this story is about. It sounds like a really interesting concept. So hopefully it holds up. The next book that I got, I'm actually super excited for. So as you can tell, I mostly read fantasy or murder. This is from an author that seems to be like new and emerging as of the last year or two as far as popularity. And I saw one of her TikToks the other day and you know what? It just made my heart happy and she seems like a genuine soul. And I looked into her newest release and it sounded like something I'd really like. Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This woman honestly seems like a national treasure. This is about a girl who every guy she dates, they break up, and then the next girl they get with is the love of their life. The girl that has this curse finds an Am I the Asshole Reddit post that a man had posted where he has the same curse. Every woman he gets with, they break up. The next guy they get with, love of their life, they're married forever. So these two reach out to each other and they decide to date each other just for the summer because theoretically, if they get together, then the next people that they're with will be the love of their lives. Obviously, that's not how this works out. This is a love story. Obviously, they're going to fall in love and it's going to be cute. But I just love how this starts out with an Am I the Asshole Reddit post. Like, that is just so on the nose. I will watch those on TikTok for hours. Like, hours. If you put a Minecraft jumping parkour video in the background, you have me locked in. So I'm really excited for that. The last book is The Wishing Game. I still have the sticker on it. From what I have heard of this book, there's like some type of magical realism in it. I don't know if that's true at all, because from the back, it doesn't seem like there is. But regardless, it sounds like a good book. I do love books with magical realism where there's just like something magical that happens, but it doesn't need to be explained. It just is. It's just part of the story. It's subplot. It helps move the plot along. This is about a teacher's aide. She's 24 years old and she had a neglectful childhood. And the only thing that got her through her childhood was this one book series by this author. Now she's an adult. She's a teacher's aide and she runs into an orphan who she just sympathizes with, and she probably sees a lot of herself in him. This author that she loved and who got her through her childhood just kind of disappeared off the map. And now all of a sudden he's come out and said that he's releasing a new book. But he's holding a competition for people to come to the island where the original series took place and was inspired. And you have to enter this competition to win the only copy of my new book. Our main character is one of those individuals that's chosen to go to the island and compete for the book. Apparently, the author is plotting something crazy, but this means the world to her and hopefully the orphan that she would like to adopt. It seems really heartwarming. I hope it makes me cry. So anyways, now that the sun is fleeting, that is all 20 books. We've finally done it. We've made it through all of the books that I've gotten. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you next time. Bye.